How's it doing? God bless. Just wanted to make this video because I know some of you have been seeing my Audible book up, and I just kind of wanted to explain some things in the direction that I'm going. I wrote that book in 1999 while on house arrest before Christ, and it was a story that I had been wanting to write for a long time during my music career. And when I was finally on house arrest, bored out of my mind, I decided I'm going to write it. After writing it, I released it with my record label at the time and printed 1,000 copies of it. Since then, they've sold out. You know, went to prison, found Christ, been preaching. I released it as an ebook a couple years ago because of the request for it, and I couldn't afford to print physical copies. So I released it as an ebook on every single ebook platform there is, whether iBooks or Google Play, all of them. So then, recently, I was approached by a brother at the church, and he says, I really want help in writing my testimony. And after talking, after sitting down, after discussing, I decided we would do this project together called God's Fingerprints. And we're in the middle of finishing his book. Book is done, actually. We're in the middle of editing the book, and we want to have it released very, very soon. It's going to be a physical copy. It's going to be an ebook, and I've agreed to do the audio for it. So it's going to be on all three platforms, on every digital store you can think of, from Barnes & Nobles to Amazon, Audible, Kindle, Nook, on iPhone apps, also, all of them. So when I was incarcerated and I was in solitary confinement, I started to write a book. I have 220 pages. I've been very hesitant in releasing it, but I think now's the time. It's all handwritten, and actually it's right here. Look, these are the actual pages that I wrote while I was incarcerated. Called it Lost in the Storm. And it's about my experience, a little bit about my past, of what I've been through, and my experience while incarcerated in federal prison, being a Christian in federal prison, the challenges of that, and the things I had to rise above. So this coming year, I just released my Audible book, of the book I published in the past, in the midst of my confusion. It's a fiction story. It's not real, but nevertheless, I think it's a good story. It could get a little violent in the middle, but every story, you know, there has to be a hitting bottom in order for the character to rise above it. So if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, and you get that book and you listen, you're like, what's Pastor David doing? Just follow through with the story. You know, just follow it and listen to it, and we could appreciate it, even though I wrote it before Christ, because it is a positive, I believe it's a positive ending in what I'm trying to say in it. You know, even though it's a fictional story, I believe there's a lesson in it. So real soon you'll see God's Fingerprints, Brother Alfonso's story, and very soon after that you'll see mine that I wrote in solitary confinement. I served I had an 8-year sentence, served 6 years out of that. 2 years out of that was in a cell, and one of those was in solitary confinement when I wrote these pages right here. So these are all double-sided. Sometimes I was limited to paper, so I had to make sure I wrote on every single piece of paper that I had in there. So just wanted to, like I was saying, give an insight of what I'm doing, the direction I'm going. And last of all, I want to thank my wife, Sharon. She has really, really encouraged me to write. You know, anytime we want to do something different, do something new, we always have doubt or self-doubt, What if it's not good enough? What if I'm not a good writer? Or if you're a singer, what if I'm not a good singer? If you're a rapper, what if I'm not a good rapper or a preacher, whatever? And I want to encourage my wife encouraged me, and I want to thank her. And also, second after her, I want to thank Carlos Garcia down in Hanford, who's been a huge encouragement for me on pursuing this. So that's about it. I just wanted to explain my Audible book, Mr. My Confusion. If you follow the link, and if you've never been on Audible, you can actually join Audible and get the book for free. By joining, you get 30-day free, and you get to choose one book. So you get to get Midst of My Confusion, and you get to listen to it. If you don't like Audible after 30 days, you can cancel. Or, man, there's a lot of books. I actually listen to a lot of books with Audible. A lot of times I don't have time to sit and read, but I do have times where I can put a headphone on and listen to a book. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. So, all right, guys, God bless. And I will post a link to my current book, Midst of My Confusion, that I wrote in the past. I'll put the Audible link. All you got to do is click on it. You could actually even hear a sample of it. It was really fun narrating it. It was interesting. It was fun. Brought back a lot of memories of the time I was writing it. And it was just a really fun project to do. I look forward to it. And so God bless you guys. Amen.